Crop this weekend. I know Friday night I had a ball, and so far today it's starting out great. You will hear a lot of dinging. Sorry, I do have the crop open in another screen so that I can kind of keep an eye. One thing I want to go through real quick is in March, our Craftology box, there were some add-on kits, and one of the add-on kits had the pearlescence, the Bo Bunny pearlescence, and it also had our sugar spray, Glimmer spray. And this was an add-on that went with the paper line, and I wanted to show you something. A lot of people have asked me, well, what do I do with these? So I'm going to show you what you do with these. And another question I get a lot is glossy accents. We all know we can adhere glossy accents to use it as a glue. But one thing that I like to do, and I'm using the Mother Goose paper by Gravik 45 because it was a great example of what a lot of people use their glossy accents for. When glossy accents dries, it becomes like a bubble, an acrylic bubble almost over. So what you can do, and it has a fine tip, and it is a booger because it does like to clog, is you pick your image. Now it's going to look really milky, but as we're doing it, you'll see you might get a few little bubbles, but you can just smash those out. So what you're going to just do is you're going to paint the picture. So I'm painting the moon, and I usually do this after I'm finished with my project, such as on my mini album. I did quite a few of Mother Goose, and New Lady 1949. She did a lot of the Mother Goose, and she does the glossy accents, the stickles, the Wink of Stella, all those fun things. And you might be new to crafting, and so you're watching the videos thinking, what is that stuff? I'm going to bring the camera down, and can you kind of see how it's turning glossy? Like I said, I do this last, and I do it, or if I'm working on a page and I want to do it, I do it at night, and then I leave it overnight to dry. Let me bring it up. It is wet, but it's going to dry to a nice hard finish. There we go. Can you see the moon? Then it's going to be all glossy. Now with glossy accents, make sure you clean it really good. I have tried the diaper wipe method. I've tried everything, but let me tell you, it's still going to clog. I still have to use my pen. So there's your glossy accents. Now we have the Bo Bunny. I'm going to use the pearlescence in black for this one. And it is not translucent. And it's always good to start over your garbage can. Get a nice good stream going. Now this comes out fast, and it comes in so many different colors. What you can do with this, squeeze. Now, like I said, it comes out fast. So you're going to be able to use the tip somewhat like a paintbrush. Move down here. Have no fear. I'm glad this was not a project. Okay, it comes out really fast. Q-tips work wonders. Let me see if I have any Q-tips. I do not. So I'm not going to squeeze this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work this up because I don't have a Q-tip handy. I usually do. So I'm not squeezing the bottle. What I'm doing is I'm using it as a paintbrush. Now you could get out a really fine paintbrush tip. And if this was a project, I definitely would. And you can also squeeze this out and use a paintbrush if you want to be a little more careful than what I just did. And it's a new bottle, so I should have really checked it. That is not as perfect as I would do it, but it came out so fast. Let me clean this tip, and then you can also write with them. And if you do get it somewhere you don't want it, just grab a diaper wipe, but let that area dry. It will smear a little. You can write with them. And like I said, this is a brand new bottle, so play with it at first. I just got my hand in the glossy accents. And as it dries, it will start Boy, this one comes out a lot faster than most of them, though. Okay, so you can write with them. One thing that you can do, so basically what they are is they're just enhancers. But remember, do not put them on a project that you are still working on, because you're going to smear it. The yellow. I use the yellow a lot of times when I make my flowers, or right here in this flower. I get one that matches. And I turn the centers now to more of a 3D dimensional on my flat paper. And you might not want to do it to all of them. And that is what you can do with your pearlescence. I call them pearl drops, but this is not the best job. I apologize. So that is one thing. Now, when it comes to your glitter sprays, they do take some shaking. So I already did one flower, and I want to show you how it looks. Let me come down. Can you see the glitter on there? Well, if you did get this in your kit or you have some at home, go ahead and grab anything that you want. Now, you had gotten the sugar spray, so I'll use the sugar. Like I said, it takes some shaking. Now, you can do whole pieces of paper and then get this splattered effect and then layer it. Makes it look really cool. I always shoot it off in the garbage can. Now, you're going to want this at a distance, so I'm like clear up here above the camera. Spray it as many times as you like. It dries pretty quick. Might be a little hard to see. And we can also add, again, these come in tons of colors. Spray it in your garbage can first. No odor. No odor. So you don't have to worry about smell. And you can, there's many different, I know there's ways to make more. I mean, make them, and I know some people use alcohol and eyeshadow and things, but by the time you buy all your chemicals bottles, you could have bought it for the same price. And these are non-toxic. So even though it says children under 3, my granddaughter uses these on her coloring books. They will not hurt you. They are water-based. They are acid-free, so they won't hurt your projects. So that kind of gives you an idea of a few things that you can use. And then I just set these off to dry because they will be a little bit wet. And that is what you can use your glitter mist for. And I hope that answered some questions. Now again, you see this is so pretty. One thing that I like to use it with, and this is a doily that I've cut because I'm using for another project, is my doilies. Then we'll move on to our cards. So when I spray my doilies, make sure you're up high. And you can change them now into many different colors. You can give them that cool accent. So since this is a little bit about layering, look at that. So we took our white doily and now we really enhance the gold with gold. So you can do that with any color. And then just make sure you put this away to dry, and it won't stick. It will be all over your hands, but it comes off pretty easy with your diaper wipes. And I keep wipes right next to my computer screen at all times. Cleans right off. Okay, now let's move on because this is also somewhat of a sneak peek. So for next month's kit, you get to get a Glimmer. We are going to be having a paper line that also has cut-aparts that you're going to be able to use for Mother's Day. Now, the flowers that I'm going to be using may or may not be in your kit because actually your flowers for next month's kit are going to be from Prima. And this paper line can be used. These are just a couple of sheets of cut-aparts. So it's not just a Mother's Day line. You will have this beautiful vintage paper from Authentique, and you can make any kind of cards that you like. And I made these two ahead, so let me show you what we're going to be making today. I'm going to make the first one from a file folder, and the file folders will be in your box, and they are punch-aparts. Just love them. And so you're going to have a 6x6 paper pad. So the papers I'm using are from the 6x6 paper pad, and the cut-aparts are going to be from the cut-apart sheets. One thing I like to do before I even start my cards, I have this adorable stamp. Just picked it up at Joann's or Hobby Lobby. Maybe it doesn't matter. They both carry the same lines. I think they have them because there's going to be flowers. So I just take my stamp and I go ahead and stamp the back. One thing I really like about the file folders is it's already finished for you, and these are heavy, nice and heavy. So I'm going to use for my cut apart sheets, and I'm going to do the inside first because when I get the outside, there's going to be dimension, and I don't want to smash my flowers. Now, if you are a specialist in card making, please, I know my techniques probably aren't refined, and so don't be afraid to share your ideas. I do like to ink my papers even on the inside. Now, one thing that I want inside is a saying, because for this card, I don't want to have to write. And you may be thinking, I don't want to make Mother's Day cards, but let me tell you how wonderful to give not just your mother, but someone maybe, like I'm giving these cards actually to my grandchildren to give to my daughter and my daughter-in-laws, because I want to make sure they do acknowledge their mom. And you know how dads can be. Love you, sons, but you know how they can be. And then, of course, my husband's mother. What I like to use, and yes, whoops, this month, you will be getting the 1/8 inch score tape in your kit. You do get a score tape product, and I like the 1/8 for cards because you do not have to use the heavy duty, you know, the wider that you would use for your maybe mini album pages, and the 1/4 inch is great. Now this all comes down to layering. And one thing I did learn from a card maker, so if you're frustrated and you're thinking, I can't do my mini albums, I want to layer my mini albums. One thing a card maker taught me was, don't try and make your mini album cover a mini album cover, make it a card. And ever since she told me that, she's right. Mini album covers are just huge cards. And if you think of your mini album cover as a card, then you're going to be able to layer it. And for me, that's what I'll do. I don't stress over what is my mini album cover going to look like. I stress over what would the card that goes with my mini album look like. We're artists, we're strange. I know this. So, but that is how I layer. Now, what you want to do is always start with your layering. You always want something on the bottom, and I'll show you more, because that's where we're going to get our layering techniques. Layering can be flat, layering can be dimensional, and layering, you know, layering just means how many layers of papers, flowers, and even fabric. You can use burlap. I use burlap a lot. Layering is just that. It's layering. Like you layer your bed with pillows and bedspreads. So let's bring that up just a hair. And for this one, I just want it on the outside. And again, you could use a 3-dimensional with this. I am just going to go ahead and take it. Now, one thing I really like to do with my cards when they're family, I like to leave one side blank because I usually put a picture of Like in here, my granddaughter will put a picture of herself for her mom in here. Now we can do our front. Now the front already has, let me find my bone folder. The front already has the print on it, so we don't have to layer that. But what we're going to do is we are going to layer, and these are just pieces from the 6x6. And I have to remember here. And again, we're going to layer, but we're going to use some punches. So I'm picking out my crocodile. I just want my deco corner punch. Come on. And I'm just going to punch that in to sort of match the design that's already there. And for this one, again, this is going to give my layers more interest. Let's go ahead and just give a quick ink here. I have to tell you guys, it's gotten really quiet on. I'm hoping they are playing bingo over on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. Okay. Now I am going to bring, I don't want that bottom part to show. Well, yes, I do. Again, layering, and I'm going to show you how I make this bow right here. So as you can see now, we're getting some layers. So we're going to go ahead and attach this one down. And let's put our hearts. Now, like I mentioned, the flowers that I'm going to be using, you may or may not have them. The flowers are coming from Prima for this kit. I'm going to lay that at an angle. Now, for this little guy, this is how I make these. I'm going to take the gold ribbon, and you will have gold ribbon. Now I have this over to my, this way, whereas that's just me. I work kind of upside down. And I know there's other ways to do these. Now, I like this so that I have two tails, but I can see I'm getting a little off. So just move your finger until you get your bows even on both sides. Okay, tons left over. So let's go ahead and cut it. Now, because I don't want a big knot, but I do want a lot of hanging pieces. This is not playing nice with me today. Okay, I already have my piece cut, so we're good there. Let me redo this. Finger, and then go under, over, and under. Okay, put this one right there. This is when you wish you had more than one hand. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm just tying this. Gonna have to use my teeth, sorry. There we go. That's when it's nice to have another crafter with you. All right, now we're going to even up our bows. And because we're going to be gluing this one down, now you can bring all your tails over. And you may not want them all. But I like the way they look. I'm just going to cut off my ends. And usually I would take my cigarette lighter to those. See how pretty that is? Okay, hot glue gun. Flour. Again, hot glue. And you can go ahead and glitter mist this if you like. We're going to hold those down. And then another fun thing to add to your layering, because you want dimension, would be your pearls. And the nice thing, see, that one really stuck well. Well, we broke too many off, so let me just lay each one down. That adds some dimension right there. And then you can actually come across the top with more pearls if you like. Again, bring those flowers if you want more flowers at the top. Actually, that's really pretty, isn't it? So, I think I will add one of our hearts that I've already glitter misted. And one that's not. And then when you make your envelopes, remember, you've got quite a bit of dimension, so you will want to make your envelope larger. And there you have your layered card. Wasn't that simple? Just by putting some extra pieces in the back. Nothing really too difficult, and you've got a fantastic Mother's Day card. Or just because you want to give it to your mom, or because it's a new baby and you want to tell your daughter you want to give this to her. So there is that card, and we're going to make one more. So if you've never made your own card but you want to, for a 4x6 card, I started out with an 8x6 inch piece of cardstock. I scored it in half. And I went ahead and just got everything cut out. Usually I will sit here and go through my pads of paper, figure out exactly everything I want. And these are all the 6x6 that will be in your collection. So I'm going to start with the back with my stamp. And this way I've got a nice flat surface. And I know a lot of us have individual stamps, all kinds of fun stamps. And because of the sake of the video, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and lay these out for you. So for the inside, I decided I wanted to go green. And again, we're going to do some layering. And I will ink everything. So here's my brown. And this was the cut up part. Now, this was one of the doilies. And I just cut it so that I can layer it underneath here. And it will just stick out enough and hide and give that really, it just looks fantastic effect. And then you will have your puzzle pieces. So if you want to, just put a little sediment down here, again, you can use the puzzle piece. So that would be my inside. I would leave this blank. And for the outside, go ahead and do some. Once again, I will ink, and I've chosen the pink from the 6x6 pad, and we're going to again layer this. This was the back side. So when I use my 6x6, I always use the back side as a layering because it matches really well. Then I'm going to go ahead and put down my card here, and I've already cut from the bottom of another 6x6 the green, and I just punched it using this punch, and it will go right here at the bottom. And then my flowers, once again, let me go with the green. Here's part of your layering. And then for my Grace, what I'm going to do is put hot glue right there. And then I'm going to put hot glue right there. And I'm just going to hold my finger, and I've shown this before, and push it up to give that dimension. And then you can, again, use your puzzle pieces. I mean, these make great layering pieces. You can go ahead and stick things in. You can use your ribbon again. And that's all there is to layering. And when you do a mini album, picture your mini album as a card that you're going to use to give away to someone, and just start creating your mini album cover. Lay it out just like I've done, and I do this with my mini albums. And then as I'm laying out, I usually take away and I put more in, and then with my camera, I take a picture. Because if you don't take a picture, you're going to forget where everything went. So that, my friends, is how I do my layering. Nothing fancy, nothing really scientific. It's just kind of what you're feeling and how you want your project to look. So that is how we layer, and that is a sneak peek of next month's kit that you're going to be able to do a lot of items with. And Kim will be doing a special project with the papers, the 12 by 12s, and she'll be doing a special explosion box that you can use for Mother's Day or just a birthday. It's going to be adorable. You're going to love it. You'll get your 1/8 of an inch score tape, and there's other surprises to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back at the crop.